final salute to a Plymouth police officer who was killed in the line of duty.
Dear Boston, messages from the Marathon Memorial now on display here at the Boston Public Library, and it is extremely powerful.
A solid rainfall on the way tonight, but will be enough to cause any renewed flood concerns.
And the benefits of aspirin for expectant women, how it can protect moms-to-be from a potentially deadly complication.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
Saying goodbye to a fallen police officer. Tonight, family, friends, and colleagues are lining up outside Memorial Hall in Plymouth to pay their respects to Gregory Maloney. Good evening, I'm Paula Evans.
And I'm Jonathan Elias. Good to have you along this evening. The 43-year-old officer was killed last week on duty in a motorcycle crash. Bill Shields spent the day in Plymouth, where Maloney's wake is now underway.
The mournful sound of bagpipes echoed throughout Court Street in Plymouth today as police from across the region came to the wake for Officer Greg Maloney.
It's been extraordinary. And it means a lot to our department to have the support of the community and fellow law enforcement officers.
It was the motorcycle that made Officer Greg Maloney so visible to the public, and he used it effectively, especially with kids. And the people who grew up with Maloney knew well his love of motorcycles and cars. Ironically, minutes before the crash that took his life, Maloney had stopped here at Corvette Mike's to talk with his old friend about cars.
That was his life. I love his family and the police department.
Many people lining Court Street in Plymouth never met Officer Greg Maloney, but they knew what he did for his community.
Just from talking to people around town, everybody who knew him thinks the world of him.
He leaves behind a wife and 2 sons and a lot of people with a simple question. Why?
I believe in the sun even when it isn't shining. I believe in love even when I don't feel it. I believe in God even when he is silent.
The viewing hours are now for Officer Maloney, and the public is lining up around Memorial Hall here in Plymouth, all the way down almost to the waterfront. This is for the wake. Tomorrow, the funeral. 11 a.m. across the street of St. Peter's. Reporting live from Plymouth, I'm Bill Shields, WBZ News. Back to you guys.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Well, if you're out and about this evening, hope you have your umbrella with you, because chances are you're going to need it.
Yeah, we are expecting rain tonight. It could cause some issues at tonight's Sox game at Fenway. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher is here now with a first look at his AccuWeather forecast. Hi, Eric.
Hey there, Paula. Good evening, everybody. Talking about a storm that is really soaking rain across the southeast, now moving in our direction. You see the spin right in here. We're watching this plume of moisture that's going to stretch up the east coast and bring us some significant rainfall overnight. Some of that rain just starting to extend in and fill in here as we move toward the Litchfield Hills and into western Mass, and that will be the trend as we head through this evening. Now, if you're heading out to Fenway, should probably be a dry start here, maybe a couple of sprinkles, but the rain will be getting close. By the middle innings, we're into some of that rainfall, and then by the end of the game, might be heavy enough here where they perhaps will end this one early. Definitely bring the rain here if you're heading out to the ballpark. That will be the moral of that story. The rain tonight is heaviest between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. There could actually be some thunder mixed in there. Some street flooding, minor river flooding does not look to be a big issue with this particular event. About 3/4 of an inch to, at most, 1.5 inches of total rain. We've got the timeline for this and what moves in after the rainfall tomorrow coming up in just a few minutes.
Jonathan? Eric, thanks. Running shoes, cards, race bibs, and makeshift mementos, all supporting the city of Boston in the aftermath of the bombings. They were left at Copley Square the days after the attacks. They are now on display for all to see. The Boston Public Library just opened a very special exhibit featuring those messages of hope.
In those dark days after the explosions at the finish line, people from all over the world sent their well wishes to the city. So organizers hope this exhibit will help continue the healing. Paul Burton is live now at the Boston Public Library. Paul?
Paula and Jonathan, I tell you, the exhibit is absolutely extraordinary. Powerful images, incredible remembrances. It really is a moving tribute to those affected by the bombings, and it really shows how a community came together to help each other.
A ribbon, a bib number, a note. All unforgettable images and remembrances of the memorial left behind in the days following the Boston Marathon bombings are now on display at the Boston Public Library.
I'm really happy that they did such a fine job preserving all of the items.
The exhibit is called Dear Boston, Messages from the Marathon Memorial. All throughout the day, people broke down and reflected back on the innocent lives lost and the hundreds who were injured.
It just brings tears to my eyes, you know. What happened, but people came together to help, and that's the good part.
And this exhibit shows the outpouring of love for Boston from all over the world.
It's home. And my daughter's a Watertown cop who was active in the search for Chennai. So it's family, too.
Hundreds of runners left their sneakers behind as a memorial. Now they're beautifully on display here at the Dear Boston exhibit. It's a touching tribute of how runners felt after the bombings.
1 year ago, our hearts and our city were shattered in the span of 10 seconds. Every person who left an item at this memorial, they left a piece of themselves.
We're in it together. We're making meaning here at the 1 year anniversary, and it's going to help us move forward.
I am so thankful that people took the time to remember. I really am.
Very moving. You have to come and see this exhibit. It's just so powerful, and it will remain open free of charge until May 11th. We're live in Boston. I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News. Jonathan, back to you. And Jonathan, you need to come see this.
Oh, I absolutely will, Paul. In fact, I'll be down there soon. Thank you. A new survey about issues related to the marathon show how most people think that the city actually did a great job in the aftermath of last year's attacks, and they're not worried about security this year. And I say that for this reason. Here are some of the poll results. 94% of the people asked praised first responders. Surprising that it's not 100% actually. But here you go. The survey says 74% are in favor of law enforcement's response to what happened after the attacks. As for 65% of the survey say they're confident that the event this year will be safe. And if they had the chance, 71% of the people that were surveyed said that they would like to be spectators or have their families out and enjoy the race in person. We do invite you to join us tomorrow night for a very special 1-hour presentation, Boston Marathon, The Road Ahead. We're going to reflect on the attack, the manhunt, and how our city has healed. Join Lisa and me tomorrow at 7 o'clock right here on WBZ. Paul?
Well, Jonathan, tonight, the owners of a popular function hall in Foxborough say they're doing all they can to help their clients after a weekend fire. Even so, hundreds of engaged couples are on edge. Lisa Hughes is here with the details. Lisa?
Well, Paula, Saturday night's fire at the Lakeview Pavilion could affect weddings for the next year and a half. Investigators say somebody tossed a cigarette in the mulch outside the building and started the fire while a wedding was actually going on inside. The owners say within the week they're going to be returning the deposits to the 200 couples booked with them through the fall of 2015. They're also opening a temporary office in Foxborough to help couples find new places to host their events. And some have very little time right now to find an alternative.
We've been contacting venues after venues, and, you know, everything's booked because it's only 6 days away, we just hope we find something.
Everything that you pictured over the years, or like, how your day's going to go, and now you're starting from scratch.
Well, the owners say they plan to rebuild. They're just grateful that nobody was hurt. Several catering halls, we should tell you, from across the state have reached out to us offering to help the Lakeview clients, and we have passed their information along to Lakeview's owners. Jonathan.
All right, Lisa, thank you. An early morning accident in Brockton forced several families to evacuate their homes. A car crashed into a house on Harvard Street, damaging a natural gas meter. Firefighters came in to spray water on the meter, venting the gas until the utility company could shut off the supply. Evacuated neighbors were then allowed to return to their homes. Paramedics did take 2 people injured in the crash to the hospital. There's no word on what caused the crash. And fire investigators are trying to figure out what sparked an early morning blaze on Cliff Road in Newton. Apparently, the fire started on the front porch, then it spread up to the 2nd floor. Everyone did make it out safely.
Scott Brown is in. He will officially kick off his campaign for New Hampshire's U.S. Senate seat on Thursday. Brown won a special election in Massachusetts in 2010, but then lost his seat to Elizabeth Warren in 2012. If he wins the GOP primary, he would then face Democrat Jeanne Shaheen in the fall.
There is a spark of hope in the search for that missing Malaysian Airlines jet. It has been now nearly a month after this plane just vanished. Officials now say one of the ships searching the southern Indian Ocean detected some underwater signals, like pings. As Craig Boswell shows us, those signals sound like they're the flight recorders.
Australian officials call it the most promising lead yet in the search for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. U.S. Navy equipment aboard an Australian ship in the southern Indian Ocean picked up underwater sounds that may be coming from the plane's black boxes.
This would be consistent with transmissions from both the flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder.
The Australian ship Ocean Shield, carrying a sophisticated U.S. Navy listening device, picked up the pings. The first lasted for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Another signal was picked up for 13 minutes.
We are cautiously hopeful that there will be a positive development in the next few days, if not hours.
Officials warn it could take days to determine if the signals are indeed from the missing jet's black boxes. Crews will now try to hone in on the exact location and then send down an underwater vehicle to search for a debris field.
If this comes to pass, that the boxes are down there, this will be the most amazing search and recovery effort ever.
But time is running out. The battery life on those black boxes usually lasts about a month, and Tuesday marks exactly 1 month since the plane disappeared. Craig Boswell for CBS News, Washington.
And on Saturday, a Chinese ship detected 2 separate signals 345 miles away in the Indian Ocean. Crews are trying to determine whether those sounds are related to the missing plane.
Sprucing up the garden. This summer, a 2-year renovation project will begin at the TV Garden. The garden sent us these pictures showing some of the planned improvements to the Pro Shop area. This $70 million privately funded facelift will expand the arena's retail and office space and overhaul concessions, as well as hospitality areas.
Grave marker stolen from a local cemetery tonight. This man is behind bars charged with a crime. Well, we have a picture of him come up. We're going to show you what he looks like, and we're also going to show you what we just learned about his criminal past.
Our top politicians gather to talk about the war on drug addiction. But why are they focusing on a tactic even they acknowledge is a drop in the bucket?
And Oscar Pistorius overcome with emotion on the stand. His message to his ex-girlfriend's family. That's up next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Buy 2 rooms of flooring with installation and get product for the rest of your home for $99. 877-241 Luna.
At Plymouth Rock Assurance, you'll get more than what you might expect from a typical insurance company. You're treated like a person, not a number. Thanks to our unique one-stop online shopping experience, you get the best of both worlds. The convenience of online quoting and buying with the support of one of our local independent agents. If you want, our agents can help you compare prices from other companies to make sure you're getting the best policy for you. Visit us at PlymouthRock.com to find out how you can get more. More than just insurance. Plymouth Rock Assurance.
So again, throwing in the $1,000 fuel reward card is really what makes it like 2 deals in one.
Actually, getting a great car with 42 highway miles per gallon makes it like 2 deals in one.
Point is, there's never been a better time to buy a Jetta TDI clean diesel.
During the first ever Volkswagen TDI Clean Diesel event, get a great deal on a Jetta TDI. It gets 42 highway miles per gallon and get a $1,000 fuel reward card. It's like 2 deals in one. Volkswagen has the most TDI Clean Diesel models of any brand. Hurry in and get a $1,000 fuel reward card and 0.9% APR for 60 months on TDI models.
Excuse me, do your dentures come with a guarantee?
No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Mr. Stevens, your dentures are completely guaranteed.
Really?
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 Wow. Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like guaranteeing your dentures or your money back. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL, because your mouth is our mission.
At UMass Lowell, we're dedicated to helping you become work-ready, life-ready, world-ready. An education that's affordable and world-class. It's why our online degree programs have won prestigious national awards for excellence. Come discover UMass Lowell's online degree programs, all highly interactive, all backed by the academic integrity of a top-ranked research university. Pursue your degree online or on campus from one of the largest continuing education programs in the Northeast. Visit continuinged.uml.edu.
Experience winning like never before at Twin River Casino. This April, participate in our $100,000 cash slot tournament qualifiers each week. Win your spot into the finals on April 26th, where you could take home your share of the $100,000 in cold, hard cash. It's all at the place with more excitement, the hottest action, and always New England's friendliest casino. Twin River Casino. So much more, so close.
We're quite the scene. Olympic track star Oscar Pistorius broke down in tears today as he took the stand in his own defense.
Well, South African prosecutors charged him with murder, saying that he intentionally killed his girlfriend. And as Bobby Sisk shows us, Pistorius apologized to the woman's family, insisting that he thought he was protecting her from an intruder.
Oscar Pistorius opened his testimony with a trembling apology to the mother of his dead girlfriend.
I wake up every morning and you're the first people I think of, the first people I pray for. I can't imagine the pain and the sorrow and the emptiness that I've caused you and your family. I was simply trying to protect Riva.
The double amputee track star told the court that since the shooting, he has been on antidepressants and often wakes up in a panic.
I have terrible nightmares about things that happen at night where I wake up and I smell, you can smell blood, and I wake up to being terrified.
Pistorius entered his testimony spent and exhausted.
My God's my God of refuge.
He slumped over the witness stand after tearfully telling the court that his religious faith was keeping him together. While on the stand today, Pistorius detailed his background, spoke about how his legs were amputated when he was 11 months old, and how he was bullied at school, and how his mother died when he was 15 years old. If convicted of premeditated murder, Pistorius could get life behind bars. Bobby Sisk, WBZ News.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is now building a temporary berm near the site of last month's deadly mudslide in Washington state. The hope is that if the river that's flooded hundreds of acres of land on the east side of the slide, that it would hold the water back. At least 33 people there were killed, 10 are still missing, and this weekend, the Secretary of Homeland Security and FEMA Director were there touring the area. The smell of a brush fire burning in southern New Jersey is wafting into New York City, which is a full 90 miles away. This fire has already scorched about 2 square miles in the Wharton State Forest. Firefighters say the chilly air early this morning pushed the smoke down, so people in parts of Brooklyn and Staten Island even could smell it.
Well,
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Jersey giving New York something. It's funny. This was as perfect a weekend, or at least Sunday was, as you could ask. But as if we needed another reminder of how bad winter was. Potholes. I've never seen this epic potholes. I mean, there's things living in those potholes. They're so deep.
And now we're just going to fill them with water, with rain today.
They are. We've got a storm heading our way. This has caused bigger issues off to our south. Actually, a couple tornadoes. This video out of Covington County, Mississippi, which is just outside of Hattiesburg, so south central Mississippi. This came through last night into the early morning hours. They actually saw up to 7 inches of rain across parts of the deep south. And actually a tornado on the ground in North Carolina this afternoon. So all things told, certainly the biggest part of this storm affecting some different parts of the country. We're just going to get a good old-fashioned soaking of rainfall as we head into tonight. So there you see the more business end of the storm with that rain and storminess from North Carolina down into Florida. Around here, some of the first drops just starting to move in this evening. We're seeing across western Mass and northwestern Connecticut. Some of this may not be reaching the ground just yet. Still very dry at lower levels of the atmosphere, but we'll be moving in this evening. Here's a look at the timing for us. Most of the drive, no issues heading home tonight. So no one should be coming home late for dinner unless there are other factors at play. But as we head toward 8 o'clock, the rain should be starting to press in, becoming a little bit more steady. And certainly by later on this evening, 11 o'clock time frame, the heavier rain picking up. It's with us through much of the night. And then as we get toward tomorrow morning, around, say, the 7 a.m. time frame, could be a couple of downpours with some thunder and lightning here around to kick off the day. By the time we head toward late morning, midday hours, things will be drying out. The Futurecast radar is showing a couple showers popping up tomorrow afternoon. I think very far apart, hit or miss, probably not going to be a big deal. Most of the afternoon is going to be dry. In terms of total rainfall, we're looking at generally 3/4 of an inch to maybe as much as 1.5 inches. This shouldn't be enough to cause major issues. There'll be more nuisance flooding, some standing water here and there. The rivers that are already running pretty high will continue to do so, but shouldn't cause a lot of big headaches for tomorrow morning. Just a slow drive. There's a flood watch just off to our north here across southeastern New Hampshire, southwest Maine. You saw some ice on the rivers here and some snow melt factoring in. That's why they have flood watches in those locations, but there aren't any across Massachusetts. So for tonight, rain heavy at times. Temperatures in the 40s actually rising as we head toward tomorrow morning. We'll be in the 50s to start the day. Few early day downpours. Definitely need the rain gear. Maybe even some lightning involved there. But by midday, some breaks of sun, breezy and mild into the lower 60s. It will stay mild in the afternoon. Pretty gusty in the afternoon to go along with those warmer temperatures. But overall, it should be a pretty tolerable day. I definitely have to bring out the Arctic gear. High temp 64 in Fitchburg, 60 in Worcester. A little bit cooler here across Cape Cod, South Coast, and the islands. That wind off the water, just making it into the lower 50s. But overall, it's a above average day of temperature. Behind it, cooler air comes in. This is what we feel for Wednesday, but very quickly, high pressure moves to our south. We get back into the warmer air for Thursday. We'll talk about the end of the week and the upcoming weekend coming up in a little bit. Jonathan?
Eric, we'll see you then. Thanks. Unused prescription drugs in your medicine cabinet could feed the nation's growing drug addiction problem.
Later on this month, there's a national effort to promote their safe disposal, and that will come to Boston. But John Keller asks, is it really the best use of the political muscle behind it?
Heroin and prescription drug abuse have been called silent killers, but we cannot stay silent.
A rare joint appearance by our congressional delegation promoting an effort to keep drugs away from addicts that may be well-meaning, but in the 4 years since it was first tried, has failed to capture more than a small fraction of its target, and the politicians seem almost apologetic about it.
This is not going to be the solution. We all know that.
One take-back day is not going to solve this problem.
It's not an overall comprehensive solution. By itself, it's not going to fix the problem, but we fix what we can.
And with several of those on hand acknowledging that costly inpatient treatment is a much more significant weapon in the war on addiction, we wonder, can any of you step up and explain how much more we need to spend on inpatient treatment beds and how we're going to pay for it?
To really tackle the issue properly, it's a court issue, it's a public safety issue. I'd probably say another $50 to $100 million.
And finding that money now and in the future is much trickier politically than promoting voluntary drug disposal.
We're looking at a much more systemic reform to say, how do we actually provide the consistent revenue stream to make sure that you're getting the sufficient care that you need, and it's not just 3 days you're in and then you're out and then back in again.
Starting on April 26th, you'll be able to safely dump your unused drugs at special kiosks at 11 Boston police stations, no questions asked. Well, that's far safer than flushing them down the toilet and may help keep them out of the wrong hands, but it's still a footnote to what looms as a very expensive battle against prescription drug addiction. A battle that will be funded by the taxpayers, and it just seemed to me that their time might be better spent preparing people for that rather than messing around at the margins, however well-intentioned.
I guess their argument would be baby steps. Gotta go slow.
Yeah, well,
they're doing that, mission accomplished.
Not if you want to get there.
Yeah, all right, John, thanks.
Thank you, John. Well, a local woman heard some strange noises in her home, so she called the police.
Yeah, but the unexpected discovery officers made when they arrived.
Plus, a new tool in the fight against migraines. How a headband could ease the pain of the debilitating headaches. Now here are David and Lisa. They're going to look at what's coming up at 6. Hi, guys.
Hello, Paula. A veteran teacher gets fired over her Facebook page.
Coming up new here at 6 o'clock, what the school found so objectionable about her posts and why the 80-year-old educator was ultimately dismissed.
And tonight, a young man from Roxbury will try to lead the Yukon Husky National Championship.
Coming up at 6 o'clock, Shabazz Napier's road to stardom and the lessons he learned at a local school that have helped him lead his team to the title game. See you at 6.
Last April, their lives changed forever. But 1 year later, they defined Boston strong.
I've been given an opportunity because of what's happened to me.
We want to inspire people to just live life better.
Join us as they share their stories in a 1-hour special.
We have the survivor stamp on our back. We're proud.
I'm not going to let this stop me. There's just been such an incredible outpouring of love and support.
WBZ News presents The Road Ahead, Tuesday night at 7 on WBZ.
Just in time for Easter, it's the semi-annual dress event at K&G. Choose from thousands of new dress styles for only $19.99. Plus, select designer suits are just $50 each when you buy 3. Only at K&G.
K&G.
I'm Robert Battle, Artistic Director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. Join me and 30 of the world's most incredible dancers, performing the hottest new productions and audience favorites like Mr. Ailey's masterpiece, Revelations. Come see us.
At the City Wayne Theater, May 1st through 4th only. For tickets, visit citycenter.org.
Today we're showing real people Xfinity Internet. I bet we can have all 3 of these guys on their devices and download our favorite HD show. You're going to be impressed. Xfinity delivers the fastest minimum Wi-Fi.
So, flipping
your devices with the fastest in-home Wi-Fi. Fire says nothing like this. And now, Blast customers get double the internet speed for no additional cost. Not a Blast customer? Upgrade today. Call 1-800-XFINITY.
Buying eyeglasses is personal. Do they make me look too old? Should I get the red ones? Most glasses will improve your vision, but the right glasses are an extension of your personality. Cambridge Eye Doctors is now VisionWorks. Get 2 complete pairs for $99 or 2 pairs of no-line bifocals for $179. VisionWorks, where you'll find more than a pair of glasses, you'll find a better you.
Just in time for Easter, it's the semi-annual dress event at K&G. Choose from thousands of new dress styles for only $19.99. Plus, select designer suits are just $50 each when you buy 3. Only at K&G. K&G.
Tonight, a new benefit of a daily low-dose aspirin.
Experts say that it actually can help some pregnant women at high risk for a common complication. Dr.Mallika Marshall now here tonight with the details on this.
Well, you know, preeclampsia is a dangerous disorder that affects about 7 million pregnant women each year. In the later stages of pregnancy, it causes dangerously high blood pressure and protein in the urine, and that can lead to preterm birth and even death in expectant mothers. And there aren't great treatments available. Now, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is recommending low-dose aspirin for women at high risk.
Low-dose aspirin every day lowers the risk of preeclampsia by 24%. And lowers the risk of preterm birth by 14%.
Now, aspirin therapy would begin after 12 weeks of pregnancy in women at high risk for preeclampsia. That includes women who have had preeclampsia in a prior pregnancy, or those with a history of diabetes or high blood pressure or kidney disease. Also tonight, a slim headband that promises big relief for people who suffer from migraine headaches. It will start shipping to patients here in the U.S. later this month.
People who really suffer from migraine are frequently in the emergency room because they don't have something that sort of consistently helps. And so for those people, I'd anticipate that this would be something that they're very excited about.
This is Cephally, an FDA-approved battery-operated headband. It delivers small pulses of electromagnetic waves to stimulate the trigeminal nerve, which senses pain in the face and parts of the head. A clinical trial of 67 migraine sufferers found that patients who used the headbands for 20 minutes a day needed less medication and had fewer migraines.
It's a novel way of looking at treatment, and it's something that is non-pharmacologic, which, you know, for some people, the pills just make them feel sick.
The headband costs $300, and since it was only just approved, doctors are still learning about the device.
As larger groups of people are exposed to the treatment, it'll become more apparent what is a big game changer and what really just doesn't seem to have much of an impact.
Okay, so some patients did not like the feel of the electrodes. Others had an allergic reaction to the adhesive. The band isn't covered by insurance, but you'll still need a doctor's prescription if you'd like to give it a try. Jonathan, Paula.
And I'm sure folks who suffer with migraines will just about try anything. Doc, thanks very much. Are the skies becoming a bit friendlier?
Maybe, maybe not. Still had a contradictory report about the airline industry.
Plus, there's new information about the train derailment at a busy airport. What investigators just discovered about the tracks at O'Hare.
Why were dozens of veterans' markers stolen from their graves? Police say they caught this man red-handed, and they believe they have a good idea why he did it.
Like us, and you could drive away with the car of your dreams. Enter the Like CBS and Win sweepstakes, and you could win an all-new 2015 Audi A3. Go to our Facebook page, click like, and enter for your chance to win.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
The all-new Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. The truck that beats any Ford F-150 in fuel economy, and the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. And now, during Chevy Truck Month, the price you see is the price you pay for a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Use special Truck Month pricing to get a total value of over $8,100 on the Silverado All-Star Edition with best-in-class V8 fuel economy.
Visit your New England Chevy dealer.
Seasons change, and so do styles. What never changes is the untouchable value at My Bob's Discount Furniture.
Looks like a fireplace, seats like a fireplace, with all the romantic ambiance of a fireplace, but without the muck
fuss, and fire danger.
Electric fireplaces with remotes.
Run with or without heat, but always cool to the touch.
Your choice, only $7.99 each.
Thanks to you, My Bob's is 50 stores strong and growing stronger every day.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Blue Cross Blue Shield of you.
With so many online degree options, we wanted to know why our students chose Southern New Hampshire University.
It is such quality education for the price.
And I love that it was an actual campus.
When I made that first phone call, they made it so easy. I like that it was a nonprofit school and there was a huge focus on education.
It's not about furthering themselves, it's about furthering me, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Fund your online graduate or undergraduate program today and see yourself succeed at snhu.edu.
We still talk about that first trip to Florida. My sister and I actually got along. We didn't fight once. Why would we? Mom and Dad seemed to say yes to everything. Seriously, everything. My sister thought Florida turned our parents into kids. I knew better. Plan your own vacation of yes at visitflorida.com.
From Hopkinton to Boston, there's only one place to see the whole race. WBZ, proud to be your official home for the Boston Marathon.
Checking our top stories, a wake is underway for Plymouth police officer Gregory Maloney. Last week, he was on duty when his motorcycle crashed, where he also died. Tomorrow morning's funeral is at St. Peter's Church in Plymouth.
More than 100 items left behind at Copley Square in honor of the Boston Marathon bombing victims and survivors are now on display at the Boston Public Library. The exhibit, Dear Boston, will be open through May 11th.
Stealing from the dead, a Webster man is charged tonight with taking grave markers from a local cemetery, and police say they caught the man red-handed. State troopers found markers and flag holders inside his car.
As Christina Hager shows us, prosecutors say he has a long history of trouble with the law.
Dozens of military veterans' grave markers missing from this Webster cemetery. And state police say they found them in a car this man was driving. A trooper pulled over 54-year-old Alan Savides in Sturbridge Sunday. And when he looked in the car, about 25 of these markers with fresh dirt, some with specific names. Webster police traced them to St. Joseph's Garden of Peace.
It looks like Mr. Savides was taking them and probably gonna scrap them for the metal.
These markers are made of brass, and on the current market, that kind of metal goes for about $1.75 a pound. But his defense attorney says that was never the plan, offering this explanation.
Basically, they were purchased at flea markets.
Savides is well known to police, who say this time it was a stolen dealer registration plate that made them stop him and stumble into this.
Had they gone to the scrapyard, we may never have recovered them. And the families, I mean, for them, it's just one of those things that, you know, you can replace it, but it's not the same knowing that somebody's gone through and desecrated the grave.
To his fiancée, he mouthed a thank you and a nudge to the officer as he left court. No bail. In Dudley, Christina Hager, WBZ News.
Well, after a pretty stellar end to the weekend and start to the day today, anyway, we've got some rainfall moving into southern New England. See it on the radar right now. Heavier across western New York. It's also a batch that's going to slide off to our south and east. But in general, this whole area will fill in as we head through the evening. Overspread the area. We'll all need the umbrellas in the next couple of hours. Some of this starting to work into Berkshire County and western Mass. A lot of it probably not reaching the ground just yet. Still very dry in the lower levels of the atmosphere. The bottom line is Fenway Park, big game tonight. Sox trying to end the skid. It looks like first pitch, we're probably still dry, but the showers arriving by the middle innings, becoming steadier and heavier by the end of the game. This might be one that gets shortened because of the rain. Either way, definitely bring the umbrella or the ponchos out to the ballpark. Heaviest rainfall tonight, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Could be some thunder, especially as we head toward tomorrow morning. Minor flooding expected. Doesn't look to be a huge deal. We'll talk more about the timing on this and a pretty mild forecast in just about 10 minutes. Paula?
We'll see you then. Eric, thanks. General Motors is making repairs to faulty ignition switches at the center of a congressional investigation. Now, owners of the 6 recalled models should call their dealerships to get the switches replaced. But in the meantime, GM officials are saying the cars are safe to drive as long as the driver doesn't put anything heavy on the key ring. Mazda announced a recall for a rather unusual problem: spiders. Yellow sac spiders tend to build webs in vents coming out of fuel tanks. On the Mazda 6, that's increasing the risk of a fire. The new recall affects 2010 through 2012 model years.
That's insane. New research on airline quality shows complaints from the travelers are down sharply, but not because of better performance. David Wade joins us now with the details on this. David?
Jonathan, the study says we're not complaining as much about delays and lost luggage. Score one for the airlines, right? Well, not so fast. According to the latest government report, more flights were late and more luggage was lost, stolen, or mishandled last year. But the number of complaints dropped by 15%. Experts say it could be that travelers just expect that things aren't going to go well when they fly, so why bother complaining?
I just don't care anymore. It's going to be what it is, and the numbers, performance, show that the industry does a good job for a complex system.
So who's doing things well? Well, Virgin America had the best quality ratings for the second year in a row. JetBlue and Delta also performed well. But it's a bad report card for ExpressJet, SkyWest, and American Eagle. They performed the worst. Jonathan?
All right, David, thank you. A report by federal safety investigators say there was not enough room between an automatic emergency braking mechanism and the end of a train track at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Last month, a commuter train derailed and went right up the escalator, injuring more than 30 people who were on board the train. Now, the train was traveling at 26 miles per hour when it passed a trip stop, which should have activated that immediate braking system, but it didn't. There wasn't enough room to stop before the track ended. The train's operator admits she dozed off before the crash. She's since been fired. The crash caused more than $9 million in damage.
Tonight, there will be a concert to benefit the families of the fallen Back Bay firefighters. Lieutenant Ed Walsh and firefighter Michael Kennedy will be remembered at the Paradise Rock Club at 7 p.m. 100% of the proceeds will be donated to their families. There's also a fund to help the families of Lieutenant Walsh and firefighter Kennedy through the Fire Department Credit Union, and you can send those donations to the Boston Firefighters Credit Union. For more information on how to donate, all the information is there for you on our website, cbsboston.com.
This will make you smile. A North Reading woman thought an intruder was in her home. Turned out it wasn't an intruder. It was a duck. A woman called police on Saturday saying she heard loud banging noises coming from the downstairs. Officers quickly got there. They couldn't find any sign of any break-in. They did, however, discover a soot-covered wood duck. Police think he came down the chimney a la Santa style. An officer caught the duck and released it into a nearby pond. Got cleaned up. And this ruffled some feathers this morning. A turkey hanging out on a parked car on Stanford Street in Boston. Just checking it out. Someone else spotted the turkey walking through the financial district. No word if it was the same bird or how it got into the city, but it made for a good photo op.
Usually don't see them there. Oh, coming up, the young royals down under. The crowds line up to get us look at little Prince George and his parents on their first international trip as a family of 3.
And the clock is ticking on support for Microsoft's XP operating system. What you need to know to protect yourself from hackers.
There's always a reason for a makeover.
Because my ex keyed my car.
Because a tree hit my car. But most importantly, because we're having our biggest overall paint sale of the year. Paint makeovers as low as $4.99. Mako, America's Body Shop.
I must begin my journey, which will cause me to miss the end of the game.
The X1 Entertainment operating system lets you watch live TV anywhere.
Can I watch it in butterfly valley?
Sure.
Can I watch it in glimmering lake?
Yep, here too.
What about the dark castle?
You call that defense? Come on.
Watch live TV anywhere. The X1 Entertainment operating system, only from Xfinity.
Traditions are alive and well in the north end of Boston. Like coming home for Prince Spaghetti Day. For over 100 years, Prince and families like Anthony's have been making great pasta and wonderful memories. So come home to the pasta that was born in Boston. Come home to Prince, especially on Wednesday, Prince Spaghetti Day.
Belltone, a global leader in hearing care, is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology.
If you qualify to participate, you will be asked to evaluate a remarkable new product from Beltone. This small device delivers power and clarity. It is virtually invisible and comfortable. Call 1-800-BELTONE now and hear sounds, words, and conversation more clearly from your phone, TV, or cell phone. Call 1-800-BELTONE today.
In the world of orthopedic care, we have surgeons who are experts in joint replacement, spine, foot, and hand problems, as well as sports injuries. We are one of the select few that provide a less complicated approach to hip and knee replacement. We also offer pre-surgery visits to answer any questions and post-surgery rehab services to help you recover fast. And we accept all insurance plans. Who in the world are we? St. Vincent Hospital, in the heart of Worcester.
Got an old pair of skis? A VCR? Well, buy them at the Cambridge Honda Spring Cleaning Event. Buy this new Honda Accord for $22,163 and we'll buy back your old bicycle for $2,000. We'll buy most anything. Buy this new Honda Cross Tour for $29,103 and we'll buy back your old tires for $3,000. Or buy this new Civic Hybrid for $23,418 and we'll buy back your old golf clubs for $2,500. We'll buy most anything, even your old car. Cambridge cares about you.
Cambridge cares about you.
There's always a reason for a makeover.
Because my ex keyed my car.
Because a tree hit my car.
But most importantly, because we're having our biggest overall paint sale of the year. Paint makeovers as low as $4.99. Mako, America's Body Shop.
HeathWatch is brought to you by Newton Wellesley Hospital.
Right now, computer owners across the nation are faced with a decision.
Yeah, because tomorrow Microsoft will stop supporting machines that use one of its popular operating systems. And as Derica Duncan shows us, that could leave millions of people vulnerable to hackers.
Windows XP came out in 2001. Since then, Microsoft has offered several new operating systems, but millions of Americans never upgraded.
Even though Windows XP is really old, still like 25 to 30% of computers are running it. A lot of government agencies, a lot of big companies even.
And that could soon be a problem. Starting April 8th, Microsoft is no longer supporting or offering security updates for the XP system.
There really is an XP perfect storm.
Imagine a wall of defense around your computer. Before, when hackers found a weakness in XP, Microsoft would send out an update to seal those security holes. But those defense measures are going away and could give hackers a way in to grab personal information.
Their passwords, their social security numbers, their credit card information.
It's not just computers. Most ATMs use the XP operating system, but several banks say they have a plan in place to keep personal information protected. Bank of America and Chase say its ATMs will continue to receive Microsoft support even after the April 8th cutoff. And Wells Fargo tells CBS News it is also working with Microsoft to upgrade its ATMs. As for home computers, CNET's Dan Ackerman has some advice.
If you're still running Windows XP, I would seriously start to think about maybe getting a new computer.
He says people who continue to use XP are putting themselves at risk. Derica Duncan, CBS News, New York.
Dealing with the marathon bombings 1 year later, some of the psychological effects of the attacks might be just showing up in our children now. What to watch out for and how to help them cope with the fear.
And some wet weather moving in for overnight tonight. Could see some flooding issues with this one, plus some big-time mild weather in the 7-day. A first, actually, for this year, after the break.
I'll be standing right there on the finish line. I'll be talking to the runners as they come across, and you see their face light up, and you understand the accomplishment they have just achieved. That is a moment that's fun to celebrate with them. I like being the first high five they give when they come across the line. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for the opportunity to be back down here again. I'm excited to tell the stories of runners coming across that finish line who worked so hard. That feeling of triumph, overcoming so many obstacles. I'm really excited for this year's race. This will be a fantastic marathon.
Tonight, it's the biggest game in college basketball. Catch all the exciting action on WBZ, sponsored locally by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Unfortunately, I didn't reach Boylston Street, but I did end up receiving a finisher's medal for the 2013 Boston Marathon. Similarly, I received a medal from the Special Olympics, thanking me for fundraising for running in their honor. You guys want to play? With the Special Olympics, I think it's a really great example of transcending barriers, and that's something that has always been important to me. We're all in this together, and we're going to cross Boylston Street, and we're going to celebrate, all of us.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
I am the style enforcer, and this one gets a ticket for driving while captivating. And with 370 horsepower, I'd write that one up for excessive use of force. Look at the leather seats. They are softer than the leather on my face. I would drive one of these babies home right now. I can just remember where I lived. Let's go, Cookie.
Get a low-mileage lease on the 2014 Dodge Dart GT for $179 a month for well-qualified lessees.
IBEW Local 103 is proud to support the Putnam Green Community Project in Cambridge, a 40-unit affordable and energy-efficient housing development. Thanks to partners like IBEW Local 103, Putnam Green is LEED for Homes Platinum certified and a model of energy efficiency in the heart of the city's Cambridge Core District. IBEW Local 103, serving New England electricians and developers since 1900. For your next project, visit the103advantage.com. WBZ News is sponsored by Sleepy's, the mattress professionals.
Beep, bop, boop, bop, boop, beep.
She says switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Call or click today.
CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by Citizens Bank. Good banking is good citizenship.
Special honor today for some unsung heroes who helped marathon bombing survivors after they were released from the hospital. The Boston Survivors Accessibility Alliance renovates the homes of survivors who must adapt to new lifestyles. Dozens of contractors, architects, and others stepped forward to do the work free of charge.
In the aftermath of pain and grief, you stepped forward to exemplify the best of the human spirit. Collectively, working together, you said, I want to help, I can help, and I will help.
Congratulations to one and all today. 44 different companies and organizations were recognized for making a difference in survivors' lives. And it wasn't the attack on the marathon that traumatized children most, because according to a Boston University psychologist, the manhunt that took place afterwards took a greater toll.
Very fascinating. Tonight, in a special Eye on Education report, details of a new study that suggests the psychological effects may just be showing up in our children now.
That happened right in my neighborhood. I live on Quimby Street. My friend's house had bullets going to it on Laurel Street.
A wild gunfight as the marathon bombing suspects tried to escape, waking Costas Kruska's 3 kids in their Watertown home.
It was something that, you don't want to experience again.
Experiencing it once left an indelible mark on many school children.
Just, just being afraid. They were afraid of, yes.
And that went on for quite some time.
It did. It was a couple of months before these kids felt safe.
This is asking about the parents' own exposure.
Psychologist Jonathan Comer conducted a study at Boston University examining how children were affected by the marathon bombings, particularly those closest to the events.
So here was an opportunity to study a high-profile terrorist attack that intentionally targeted a child and family event. This was not an office building.
His team asked hundreds of local parents if they knew anyone who was injured, where their child was at the time of the attack, and whether they told their child a bad person was outside.
There was a lot of variability, and there were subgroups of children who showed particularly poor responses. Kids who were at the marathon, kids who were at the finish line showed 6 times higher rates of likely PTSD than kids who were not at the marathon. The events of the manhunt were more robustly associated with negative child outcomes than exposure to the actual attack itself.
Professor Comer wasn't surprised the drama in Watertown made a stronger impression than the carnage at the finish line.
Under conditions of uncertainty, we see a lot of more difficult and emotional problems. It was an uncontained situation.
While being near the scene of the manhunt here in Watertown or at the explosions at the finish line definitely had the greatest impact on children, researchers found that other children were adversely affected as well.
This was the first major terrorist attack where there was so much internet-based exposure.
So many outlets pumping out information 24/7.
Exposure could also mean that you watched it on the news and experienced it at a very visceral level.
But people in Watertown can't forget this unfolded in their backyard. And today, they hope they've emerged stronger.
I think it brought the community together, no question about that.
Interesting. Professor Comer said most children don't have problems like trouble sleeping or misbehaving right away. Trouble usually shows up 6 months to a year after exposure to a traumatic event. So you might notice something in the next few weeks if you haven't already. The best thing for parents to do, be calm and remind your children you are doing everything you can to keep them safe.
You know, spring was on the minds of a lot of folks on Sunday in particular, with all that sunshine, the warm temperatures, and we're certainly seeing more of it. Beautiful picture here. Some crocus, spring color in Plymouth. Bernie sent this one in. Even matches my tie and shirt. You're so thoughtful with this picture. We appreciate that. Temperatures today, also not bad. A little bit more filtered sunshine compared to yesterday. 60 though in Nashua. Boston was up to 55. Even Falmouth up to 55 degrees for today. So some pretty mild stuff. Now we watch a storm working its way in. Pretty classic looking storm at that. Notice the spin right in here. A little calm ahead. And then we've got a front that's right in here. This has been causing some severe weather. And now all this rain is going to be coming up right along that into southern New England. Now for tonight, some rain just starting to work into the Berkshires around Springfield, back toward the Litchfield Hills, maybe just starting to reach the ground. The air is still pretty dry, but things will be really deteriorating as we head through the evening. So most of the commute is dry, but by 9 o'clock, we've got rain filling in across the area, becoming more steady and heavier as we head into the overnight. Temperatures won't drop off that much. In fact, we'll actually rise a little bit heading toward tomorrow morning, 40s and 50s when we wake up. And for that 6, 7, 8 o'clock time frame, a couple of these downpours could also feature some thunder, some lightning, some locally heavy rainfall. That's going to slow things down for our Tuesday morning. By late morning, though, we're drying out. There might be a spot shower trying to pop up in the afternoon, but I think it's mainly dry from lunchtime and beyond. In terms of total rain, it looks like about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. This is not going to be enough to cause any major flooding issues, but some poor drainage flooding in the cities, water stacking up, a lot of standing water in our yards as we get into tomorrow. In the rivers that are already a little swollen, as they are this time of year, they're certainly going to be running high as we head into the day tomorrow. Flood watches in southeastern New Hampshire, also to southwestern Maine. Here there's still some snow on the ground. There's some ice on the rivers, ice jam flooding an issue, and again, some minor flooding is the main concern. For tonight, rain heavy at times, few rumbles late tonight. The temperature is in the 40s. Tomorrow morning, there will be some downpours early on. This is going to affect the bus stop and the commute. But by midday, some breaks of sunshine, lower 60s. Will be breezy and extra gusty in the afternoon. So around 60 degrees, but it's going to feel a little bit cooler because of that wind. High temperatures around the region. We're looking at well into the 60s from Manchester to Fitchburg, 60 in Worcester, maybe 62 in Boston. If we can get warmer than 60 in the city of Boston, first time since November 27th. It has been a while. Behind this front, cooler air comes in. That's the weather for our Wednesday. It's going to feel a little bit chillier compared to what we see tomorrow. But on Thursday, high pressure settles to the south. We're right back into the mild flow of air. And most of the temperature trend through Saturday above average for this time of the season. Not by too much, nothing record-breaking, just feeling pretty pleasant. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day. Take a look at Wednesday, lower 50s with the wind, again, feeling a little cooler. As we get toward Thursday, upper 50s to near 60. Some showers on Friday, and they may linger into Saturday. It might be a bit of a wet start to the weekend. We'll dry out for Sunday, and the first I talked about here, see that little Monday forecast?
Couldn't miss it 70 degrees.
We haven't done it yet. Pulling the trigger. We'll see if we get there.
We're ready to roll.
Somebody's going to win a bet, right? In the winter office.
We have a pool going.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you so much. Well, tonight, flowers on Mickey Rooney's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The 93-year-old actor passed away yesterday, and over his 80-year career, Rooney was nominated for 4 Academy Awards and received 2 special Oscars for his film work.
Tonight, Prince William, his wife Kate, and son Prince George are all in New Zealand. People stood in the rain to catch a glimpse of the royal family as they arrived in Wellington. Now, the trip is meant to celebrate the region's cultures and people. In a tradition greeting, William and Kate rubbed noses with the leaders there. The tour through New Zealand and Australia is scheduled to last 3 weeks. It's a great vacation for the couple.
you just want to squeeze that baby.
It's adorable.
It's the cutest thing.
They look as though they're getting a little sleep now.
Yeah, a little bit more. We'll rescue hundreds of miles out to sea.
A sick little girl saved, but why her parents are now under fire. I'll tell you about that. Now here's David and Lisa with a look at what's coming up next at 6.
Well, Jonathan and Paula, a man trying to live the high life on Boston Harbor.
Next at 6, the intruder who snuck onto a couple's sailboat and what he was doing on board when they came home and surprised him.
And a popular wedding spot destroyed by fire. What the owners of the Lakeview Pavilion are doing now to help heartbroken brides.
I was impressed with how many great reviews they had.
What makes CertaPro different is that our people really care about making our customers happy.
They asked what they could do to make painting an extraordinary experience for us. And they kept the gate latched.
We worked through a personalized written certainty pledge.
CertaPro painters did a wonderful job. They respected our lifestyle and their home.
It's about 5-star craftsmanship and having truly satisfied customers. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. CertaPro Painters, because painting is personal.
We still talk about that first trip to Florida. My sister and I actually got along. We didn't fight once. Why would we? Mom and Dad seemed to say yes to everything. Seriously, everything. My sister thought Florida turned our parents into kids. I knew better. Plan your own vacation of yes at visitflorida.com.
Winter's in full swing, and Butchika's in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire is your place to gear up for ski and snowboarding this year. Come in, get expert advice from our knowledgeable and experienced staff, browse our huge selection, and take advantage of our low prices on the latest equipment. Plus, get a lift ticket to JP with the purchase of any ski or snowboard package over $499. JP, the most snow in Eastern North America. Butchika Ski Shop, your skiing and riding connection, on Route 28 in tax-free Salem, New Hampshire.
The real deal is the Passat TDI Clean Diesel gets up to 795 highway miles per tank.
Actually, we're throwing in a $1,000 fuel reward card. We've never done that. That's why there's never been a better time to buy a Passat TDI Clean Diesel.
So it's like 2 deals in 1.
Exactly.
During the first ever Volkswagen TDI Clean Diesel event, get a great deal on a Passat TDI that gets up to 795 highway miles per tank. And get a $1,000 fuel reward card. It's like 2 deals in 1. Hurry in and get a $1,000 fuel reward card and 0.9% APR for 60 months on TDI models.
Tonight, a San Diego couple is defending their decision to take their 2 young girls on a sailing trip around the world.
The reason they're taking fire is because the California Air National Guard had to rescue one of their little girls, a 1-year-old, after she got sick at sea. Allison Harmelin has the story.
1-year-old Lyra Kaufman is recovering on the USS Vandergrift after Sunday's at-sea rescue. Soraya English says her niece is doing okay.
I've heard from the commander, and the baby is doing very well. Her fever is gone. He said she is more than stable.
Eric and Charlotte Kaufman were 2 weeks into a sailboat trip around the world when their infant became seriously ill. A rash covered her entire body, and she wasn't responding to medication. At the same time, their sailboat broke down. The family was 900 miles off the coast of Cabo San Lucas when they sent out a satellite distress call. The California Air National Guard came to their aid with 4 pararescuers parachuting into the Pacific Ocean to treat the sick child. Then the U.S. Navy transported Lyra, her 3-year-old sister Cora, and her parents to the USS Vandergrift. The family should be back in San Diego and reuniting with English later this week.
I am going to be probably between crying and jumping up and down. I'm really excited for that moment.
Many have questioned the Kaufman's decision to sail with 2 young children, but in a statement the parents said it's how they've lived for 7 years and they stand by their choice.
Well, they're awfully lucky it turned out the way it did.
That they are.
We have much more still ahead.
That's going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but the news at 6 starts right now.
Downpours moving in tonight, of the timeline and what it means for our already swollen rivers.
A police officer's strange and sudden death.
It seems like he really touched a lot of the officers in the department as well as citizens.
First responders from around Massachusetts say goodbye to one of their own.
A beloved teacher fired because of Facebook.
There's a paranoia about the internet. I think that we're not realizing how valuable Facebook can be.
Why she was told to drop her friends or lose her job.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
Some heavy rain is moving in, but the good news is we should escape any serious flooding. Good evening to you. I'm David Wade, in for Jack Williams.
I'm Lisa Hughes. Drivers probably will not have to worry about a downpour during the evening commute. Take a look at that. Roads still dry out there, but it's definitely going to be picking up after dark. Our chief meteorologist, Eric Fisher, joins us now. And Eric, a little more exciting evening.
Yeah, I can't wait to the time when we like to take that tower camera and we have leaves on the trees. It's right around the corner, right? But we know what happens before that. We get very big rainstorms, usually across New England. Here we've got one on the map for tonight. Some rain just starting to press into the region. We're dry in Boston right now, but we look to the western half of the state, out across Franklin and Hampshire counties into Berkshire County. This is where some light rainfall just starting to move in. This will continue to overspread the area and pick up in intensity as we head throughout the night. Current temperatures, not a very cold rain. We're up around 50 degrees. And while we might drop back initially just a little bit into the 40s, we'll actually warm back into the 50s overnight. So not a bitterly cold rain like we've seen a couple of times in the past few weeks. For Fenway Park, we've got the clouds at first pitch, but we should be looking at the rain moving in by the middle innings and certainly rainfall by the end of the game, perhaps getting heavy enough where they have to postpone this, or at least there'll be a lengthy delay mixed in here. Definitely need the rain gear for heading out to the ballpark. So with this rain, the heaviest 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. Could be some thunder and lightning as we head toward tomorrow morning. A little bit of street flooding, poor drainage in the cities, typical type of stuff. A lot of standing water in our yards. It is this time of the year for that. But it should be mainly minor flooding, and generally 3/4 of an inch to at most 1.5 inches of total rain from this system. It all wraps up tomorrow morning. Then we start to dry out. We'll talk about what comes next after the rain, coming up in about 10 minutes. Lisa?
All right, Eric, thank you. We'll see you then. Tonight, a long line of blue, a powerful show of support for the men and women of the Plymouth Police Department mourning one of their own. For the third time in 2 weeks now, first responders in Massachusetts are paying tribute to a life that ended too soon.
Officer Gregory Maloney died after his motorcycle crashed last week. Why he crashed is still a mystery. But as Bill Shields shows us, tonight his hometown is just focusing on the man that it lost.
The bagpipes set the tone as the parish priest tried to answer the age-old question, why?
You have to tell them, you have to believe that in the end, life wins over death.
As a motorcycle officer, Greg Maloney was a very visible presence in Plymouth, and he used the bike in the role of ambassador. And as a kid, he spent a lot of time with the Bolero family, where there was a love of motorcycles and cars.
Just a real nice guy. I think, he had empathy for everybody, and as far as I know, no one's ever talked bad about him as a police officer, so really be missed.
Ironically, Maloney was on his police motorcycle when he crashed last week, taking his life. Now a town and a police force mourns the loss of Officer Maloney.
Yeah, it means a lot to our department to have the support of the community and fellow law enforcement officers. I can't say enough about that, so thank you very much.
Greg Maloney leaves a wife and 2 teenage sons and many others whose lives he touched.
Oh, it's gonna miss him a lot.
The line of people waiting to go in for the wake for Officer Maloney stretches around Memorial Hall here in Plymouth, and that's just for the wake. Tomorrow is a funeral set for 11 a.m. In Plymouth, I'm Bill Shields, WBZ News. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bill. The owners of the Lakeview Pavilion in Foxborough are making plans now to help their clients, mainly couples with upcoming weddings, after a devastating fire. The owners are opening a temporary office in Foxborough. That's where they're going to be processing refunds and helping about 200 couples who need to find a new venue. Saturday's fire started when somebody who was actually at a wedding threw a lit cigarette into mulch. David?
Well, Lisa, the sneakers and signs piled high in Copley Square. In the days after the marathon attacks, the mementos proved that the world was as sympathetic as Boston was strong. Tonight, they are on display, and as Paul Burton shows us, they are stirring new emotion.
The images are unforgettable. The remembrances are overwhelming.
It just brings tears to my eyes to know what happened.
The exhibit is called Dear Boston, Messages from the Marathon Memorial, and is on display at the Boston Public Library. All throughout the day, people broke down and reflected back on the innocent lives lost and the hundreds who were injured. When you visit, you can't help but stare at the ribbons, the bib numbers, and the heartfelt letters people left behind. in the courage of the first responders.
It's home, and my daughter's a Watertown cop who was active in the search for Chennai. So it's family, too.
Kevin Brown takes a look at the 4 crosses he helped maintain at Copley Plaza.
A lot of pride, because I spent a lot of time, especially I built this area.
One of the more touching parts of the Dear Boston exhibit is the Tree of Hope, where people can leave behind messages for both Boston and the world. My message is simple: love one another. It can be hung right here on this tree.
What am I leaving behind? Peace and love to all affected by this tragedy.
I'm just overwhelmed to see the amount of support they gave to help the people.
People need to cry a little so that they can heal. You know, I remember that everybody kind of took care of each other at that time, and I think that's so important.
I'm really happy that they did such a fine job preserving all of the items.
The exhibit is free of charge and will be on display until May 11th. In Boston, I'm Paul Burton, WBZ News.
Tomorrow night at 7, join us for a WBZ special, The Road Ahead. We're going to hear the inspiring stories of recovery and look at what has happened in our city over the past year. Join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Christy Myhouse can avoid a trial on charges that he attacked his ex-wife if he behaves for the next 9 months. That's one of the conditions. The Cape Cod Times reports Myhouse reached a deal with prosecutors. Charges will be dismissed if Myhouse stays away from his ex-wife and has a mental health evaluation. Andrea Myhouse says her ex-husband spent $25 million on his political campaigns and on prostitutes, and that he attacked her when she confronted him.
Well, you can let the speculation now end. Scott Brown is ready to make it official. Brown sent an email to supporters telling them that he is ready to formally enter the U.S. Senate race in New Hampshire to challenge Jeanne Shaheen. Brown will make the official announcement Thursday night in Portsmouth. And Edward Kennedy Jr. is ready to get into the family business. The son of the late Senator Ted Kennedy is going to run for a state Senate seat down in Connecticut. He's expected to make the announcement tomorrow.
New at 6 o'clock, students protesting, fighting back against the firing of a popular teacher. Carol Ann Thebarge is 80 years old. She says she's not ready for retirement, but tonight she is out of a job because of Facebook. As New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield shows us, Thebarge had a choice: stop being Facebook friends with her students or give up her teaching job.
At 79 years old, Carol Thebarge, a longtime substitute teacher, is out of work. Not because she's retiring, but because of a flap over Facebook.
There's a paranoia about the internet, and I think that we're not realizing how valuable Facebook can be used properly.
Thebarge, affectionately known as Mrs. T, taught for 9 years here at Stevens High School in Claremont, New Hampshire. She was friends with about 250 current students on her Facebook page, but that's against school policy, and she was told to unfriend them.
They gave me an ultimatum: either take them all off or you are terminated. And I decided that I would not comply, and so I was terminated.
The superintendent says the policy is in place to prevent any boundaries from being crossed.
Facebook is a wonderful communication tool among friends, but teachers are not students' friends.
At school, some students are picketing to get Mrs. T her job back.
She wasn't harming anybody. She was a great person and she always helped us. Like, she cared.
But not everyone is siding with the teacher. One person writing online, "Rules are rules, and while her intentions might be good, I am sure parents don't want male teachers friending their 14 and 15-year-old daughters on Facebook." Despite the protest and a petition now circulating to get Mrs. T reinstated, the school district says she will not get her job back unless she complies with the policy. In Claremont, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
Coming up on WBZ News, making himself right at home, what police say an intruder was doing on a local couple's boat when they walked in on him.
Also sprucing up the TD Garden, the changes that you will soon notice.
And before Shabazz Napier was a Yukon Husky playing for the national championship, he was a star athlete at Lawrence Academy, and that's not all. Coming up, who pushed him to excel off the court?
Let's go Yukon, hoping for another double dip this year. How about in the weather? Well, we're going to be talking about a lot of rain moving in, also some mild weather on the horizon. I'll have all the details coming up.
We got a buck while you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight only at Workout World.
Leave it to Bernie and Phil's to make adjustable beds affordable for all. Spend as little as $6.99 on an adjustable base, and we'll give you a free Select Sealy mattress.
Come see why Bernie and Phil's is the #1 Sealy dealer in New England.
Show me the movies with the Arnold Schwarzenegger with the stunts and loud explosions and all the muscles. I want to see the comedy programming with the people sitting in the living room with the children. What's brother? Yeah, I want to see the Real Housewives. Right, play. All right, rewind, play.
Jimmy, please. It's been hours. We told you the X1 Entertainment operating system really does work with any voice.
Cool. What's on now?
Control your TV with your voice. The X1 Entertainment operating system. Only from Xfinity.
Got an old pair of skis? A VCR? Well, buy them at the Cambridge Honda Spring Cleaning Event. Buy this new Honda Accord for $22,163 and we'll buy back your old bicycle for $2,000. We'll buy most anything. Buy this new Honda Cross Tour for $29,103 and we'll buy back your old tires for $3,000. Or buy this new Civic Hybrid for $23,418 and we'll buy back your old golf clubs for $2,500. We'll buy most anything, even your old car. Cambridge cares about you.
Cambridge cares about you.
Excuse me, do your dentures come with a guarantee?
Guarantee? No.
Okay, hold it. Let's try something new.
Mr. Stevens, your dentures are completely guaranteed.
Really?
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 Wow. Aspen Dental is doing whatever it takes to give America a healthy mouth, like guaranteeing your dentures or your money back. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL because your mouth is our mission.
I'm Teddy Bruschi. Tackling a professional football player is not easy, but tackling the high cost of healthcare, now that's easy. Just go where I go, Shields MRI. The Shields family gives you a quality MRI at a sensible price. In fact, they could save you up to $1,000 or more. So get out there and take on those high medical costs. It's easier than taking on a really big fullback. Trust me. Why overpay for an MRI? Choose to go where I go, Shields MRI.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories to our graduate work in renewable energy, at UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
Only got a buck while you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight only at Workout World.
These firefighters are spraying down a Brockton home to prevent an explosion. An SUV crashed into this house on Harvard Street last night and cut the gas line, and that forced more than 50 neighbors to evacuate until the gas could be shut off. The driver told police that his gas pedal got stuck. A couple living on a boat docked in the North End say they walked right in on an intruder. Prosecutors say the man was inside drinking their beer, smoking cigars, and helping himself to cake. He was also wearing the owner's Rolex, they say. Prosecutors say the man lied, first claiming the boat was his, then telling the couple he was with the Harbor Patrol. He's been sent for a mental health evaluation.
You gotta draw the line at the cake.
Right, you don't go there or you're busted.
And don't eat the cake.
No.
Looking at my backyard today, I was thinking we need some help. Something. I know a little bit of rain will help, but we need a little more than that to get things green around here.
Yes, and in my case, Eric, maybe like a giant gust of wind to blow all the dead stuff out of my yard.
I think there are some services that you can call to take care of something like that. You know, this time of year, we can see a little bit of everything. Sometimes it is a little bit greener by now, and of course this year's been a little bit colder. Just 4 years ago on this date, 90 degrees, the high temperature, but also on this date in 1982, maybe the most infamous April 7th of all. It was the coldest high temperature ever recorded in Boston in April. 25 was the high. This was right after the 1982 blizzard, which was on the 6th, and that brought a widespread foot of snow to the area. So just be thankful we're not dealing with that tonight. High temperatures today, a little bit more of what you'd expect. 57 in Boston, 60 in Nashua, 62 in Taunton, and now the clouds and the rain moving their way in. Big storm system curled up here. Seen quite a bit of severe weather across the southeast, even into North Carolina this afternoon. For us, it's just going to be a good old-fashioned soaking of rain. Just starting to work its way into the state and down the 84 corridor, Hartford, and down to New York City. This is going to be overspreading the area as we head through tonight. So most of the commute home is dry. But as we head towards, say, 9 o'clock, Looks like the steadier rain should be taking control here, and then just batches of rain move through overnight, through midnight, into tomorrow morning. And as the cold front approaches tomorrow morning, especially right around commute time, there could be some lightning and some thunder mixed in. A little more instability there. So that could slow things down, certainly to start tomorrow. By midday, the clouds will start to break apart. It's a mainly dry afternoon, maybe a spot shower too. Now, the biggest issue for tomorrow afternoon is more the wind than anything else. In terms of total rainfall, we're thinking about 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. I think this is the best model depiction of what we might see across the region. Not enough to create major issues, but there will be standing water. The streams will be running high, and certainly there could be some urban and poor drainage flooding. A little farther to the north here, southeastern New Hampshire, southwest Maine, still some ice on the rivers, and as that breaks up, could see a bit of ice jam flooding. That'll be something to monitor. In terms of the wind, out of the southeast for tonight, that'll be pretty gusty, not damaging wind, just gusty outside. Same story for tomorrow morning. Then the winds switch toward the west tomorrow afternoon, and they'll be gusting up to about 25-30 miles per hour, and that'll make it a bit more uncomfortable. So tonight, rain heavy at times, temperatures in the 40s, actually rising up into the 50s by tomorrow morning, so it'll be a mild start with the downpours, maybe some thunder and lightning, and definitely a slow drive. By midday, breaks of sunshine, breezy and mild in the low 60s, and in the evening it'll be breezy again, maybe a spot shower or two, but I think the majority will stay dry. Lots of 60s on the map across the region, even the 50s down toward Cape Cod and the islands, the ocean of course, mitigating some of the warmth there. A little bit cooler than everyone else. After this, a blast of chilly air comes down for late Tuesday night and into Wednesday. It's short-lived. High pressure moves off to our south. We get right back into a milder flow as we head toward Thursday. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Again, low 50s on Wednesday with the wind. It's going to feel a lot colder than what we're seeing tomorrow. Upper 50s to near 60 on Thursday with the sun. Some showers by Friday afternoon, but again near 60. And could be a bit of a damp start to the weekend. Looks like right now, Sunday, the better of the 2 days to get outside. And Lisa and David, Sunday, they're on the forecast for the first time this year.
Hey, I just love that you're already looking ahead to the weekend.
Hey, it's a Monday morning and I'm already thinking Friday night.
That's the way to go. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Well, this is pretty cool. A very talented young athlete from Roxbury, Shabazz Napier, is hoping to lead his team to a national championship tonight.
Napier and the Yukon Huskies will be facing Kentucky, and before Napier earned the right to play in the championship game in Arlington, Texas, he honed his skills at Lawrence Academy in Groton. And as Ken McLeod shows us, the entire school is going to be cheering him on tonight.
It doesn't take much to get his old coach started.
When the game is tight and it's a big moment, that's like his adrenaline rush.
Getting it over to Napier. Pull-up shot, yes!
He's talking about point guard Shabazz Napier, of course, the Roxbury kid who has led UConn into tonight's national title game with a string of upsets over top-seeded opponents.
And he's been able to do it, whether he scores 25 or scores 12. He can find a way to contribute to that victory.
Thing is, Coach Wrzinski has seen it before. Shabazz started his high school career in Charlestown, where his number was recently retired. But the ultra-competitive, super-talented team then transferred to Lawrence Academy in bucolic Groton, where his mom was more concerned about things like grades, character, and leadership.
Being a teammate isn't just about playing great basketball.
As a junior here, Napier led the Spartans to an undefeated 29-0 season. They were New England champs of their division back in 2010, and he was named tournament MVP.
They loved playing with him to a man.
Awesome stuff. But to excel at big-time college ball, his old coach knew Shabazz would need the maturity to match his physical skills, a growth process he now marvels at.
You've got all of these other roles that you need to fill. And I think as Shabazz learned to appreciate all of those type of things, you're starting to see how it plays out.
And for UConn, it always seems to play out best when Shabazz has the ball come the game's defining moment.
He's got an unbelievable knack for just making something happen when the chips are down.
And when Shabazz takes underdog UConn up against powerhouse Kentucky tonight, this old coach will hear proud echoes in the gym. WBZ News.
Now, Shabazz is a senior, and Ken was telling me he's expected to go low first round, high second round in the NBA draft, so haven't seen the last of him.
Be nice to see a Celtics jersey on, right?
Yes.
If you're not going to have a Boston team in the national championship, it's nice to have a Boston kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it reminds me of Kemba Walker, who led UConn in the national championship a few years ago. So we shall see. Should be fun. All right, it will be 7th seed Connecticut against 8th seed Kentucky tonight for the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Kentucky will be seeking the 9th title in school history, while UConn will be going for its 4th. Meanwhile, if you're looking for a positive stat for the Huskies, between the UConn men and women's hoop teams, they are a combined 11-0 in these championship games. Could tonight's game once again come down to a clutch three-pointer from Kentucky guard Aaron Harrison? 3 times this tournament he's hit the big shot to clinch a win, starting with this 3 to sink Louisville in the Sweet 16. Then it was Michigan's turn to feel the pain in the Elite 8 when Harrison buries the tray to seal a last-second victory. And then again, Saturday night, he does it one more time. He'll bury a long bomb with just 5.7 seconds left to give the Wildcats the lead and eventually the win over Wisconsin. It's been a remarkable run by an unflappable freshman.
The biggest thing is he's not afraid to miss. He's okay with it. He's comfortable in his own skin. He knows how hard he's worked.
You got that clutch gene that guys, that everyone's been talking about, and he's not scared to miss the shot, because you know, that's the chance you take. You take that shot, there's a chance you miss it, and but he's the guy that's gonna be willing to be the hero, and that's just a lot of respect.
Should be a fun matchup. Be sure to tune right here to WBZ for tonight's national championship game. It starts with a pregame special at 8:30. Tip-off expected around 9:10. To baseball, Red Sox open up a pregame set against the Texas Rangers tonight over at Fenway Park. Barring the weather, heavy rains, of course, expected. The Sox would love to play this one and snap this 3-game losing streak they're currently riding. Earlier today, the Red Sox making a roster move, signing free agent infielder Ryan Roberts to a contract while sending infielder Brock Holt down to Pawtucket. Now, Roberts is expected to see time at third base with Will Middlebrooks on the disabled list. The 33-year-old has played for 4 teams over his 8-year career.
Very excited. I think, you know, it's a blessing to be here. I feel just very blessed to be here and a part of this organization. I've played against the Red Sox for a few years, and, you know, to actually put on a uniform, it just gives you a different feeling. So, very excited about that.
We felt like we needed to add another right-handed back, third base capable, some versatility to the defensive side, but we're probably looking at a little bit of a platoon type situation at third base in the short run.
Now, Farrell also said adding Roberts does not mean Middlebrooks will be out for an extended period of time with that strained calf. That's good news. And finally, both the Bruins and Celtics have the night off. The Bees back in action tomorrow night in Minnesota. The Seas get back to work Wednesday night in Atlanta. So the perfect scenario, the Red Sox play about a 2-hour and 10-minute game, get it in with the rain, and then we watch the national championship.
Just switch on over. All right, appreciate it, Dan. Thank you so much. TD Garden's getting a makeover. The Jacobs family plans to renovate the concourses and move the pro shop upstairs near the main turnstiles. Construction on the new pro shop will start next month. The rest of the work will be done over the next 2 summers. Well, the CBS Evening News is coming up here at 6:30.
And Scott Pelley joins us live from New York now with a preview. Scott?
Lisa, David, great to be with you in Boston. Investigators are saying they have the best lead that they have ever had on that Malaysian Flight 370 aircraft that's been missing for more than a month now. Several ships have now heard pings that might be coming from the flight recorders sitting on the bottom of the sea. We're going to have 2 reports for you tonight on how they intend to find them coming up in about 10 minutes on the CBS Evening News.
All right, Scott, we will see you then. Thank you. Coming up next, an adult video store torched. Firefighters say they know who did it, but hear why they're still asking neighbors for help.
Wide-ranging, enterprising, non-sensational storytelling. For overall excellence in coverage, WBZ-TV and WBZ News Radio 1030 are honored to receive the George Foster Peabody Award. So when stories matter to you, turn to the team you trust. We are WBZ News.
In 2007, the Red Sox made history when they won the World Championship. History was also made at Jordan's Furniture. They gave over $30 million worth of furniture away free to over 25,000 families, and we're hoping to give away $50 million this year. Buy anything at Jordan's, and if the Red Sox win the World Championship this season, it'll be yours free. They've won 3 times in the last 10 years. It can happen again. It's the monster repeat, and it's going on now.
Startups aren't for everyone. You do have to be willing to just go out on a major limb. This isn't something that we're messing around with. This is a real company. So it's important that we offer benefits. One of the reasons that we decided to pick Blue Cross Blue Shield was because it has this legitimacy. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, I could say it kind of with swagger.
does peppy people packing on the perks and pampering.
How's your work, Steve?
Love it. Good meeting, Steve. You know what salesman Steve Hatfield does? He brings home the bacon.
Daddy's home.
La Quinta Inns and Suites. Book your next successful stay at LQ.com.
In your own backyard, your incredible state university system, 9 institutions, 300 academic programs, more than 50,000 students, 10,000 degrees awarded annually. In the past 5 years, 5,000 science and technology degrees, 4,000 healthcare degrees, 11,000 teaching degrees. 84% of graduates stay in Massachusetts, building the innovation economy for tomorrow's Commonwealth, for tomorrow's you.
This March, come see the Town Fair tire lineup with Bridgestone, Goodyear, Michelin, Firestone, and Toyo. It's madness to get your tires anywhere else. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Hurry into Sleepy's for our lowest prices of the season. For the first time ever, save up to 65% off practically every mattress in the store. Get Sealy Posturepedic and Beauty Rest Queen sets starting at just $3.99. Get free delivery on the new Serta I-Series. Plus, get a 50-inch HD TV absolutely free with select models. It's the final days. Don't miss it.
Trust Sleepy's for the rest of your life.
Well, tonight, Weymouth police are looking for help from neighbors as they investigate a fire at an adult video store that they say was deliberately set. Saturday's fire destroyed 2 other businesses and an apartment. Police arrested John Fernald of Rockland after a witness saw him running from the fire. Police are now asking neighbors to check if they're missing any gas cans. Police believe that Fernald stole 2 gas cans before the fire was set.
What started with a traffic stop ended with an arrest, and police say the discovery of stolen grave markers. Police say they pulled over Alan Civides of Webster on Sunday, and there were dozens of markers and flag holders, all from St. Joseph's Gardens of Peace. Police say Civides was probably planning to sell them as scrap metal. Families are relieved that all these markers will be returned to the cemetery.
To the families of the relatives that are buried there, it's much more sentimental value. I mean, that's just, you know, kind of sacred to them. To have somebody actually remove that, it's kind of really disturbing. Had they gone to the scrapyard, we may never have recovered them.
Now, Civides, for his part, says he bought the markers at a flea market. He is being held tonight without bail.
And we'll be right back.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Buy 2 rooms of flooring with installation and get product for the rest of your home for $99. 877-241 Luna.
Right now, we're about 4.5 blocks from where I'm going to be at the finish line. That glorious 385-yard stretch everybody dreams about. I'll be on the photo bridge right over the finish line. I'll admit it. You know, that morning I'm really nervous. I really want to do a good job. It's like being part of an incredible, historic event that I think this year, in part, really defines who we are. It's one of, like, the greatest days of my life. It feels like we've waited a long time to get this race back, and I can't wait until we have it.
Only got a buck while you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight. Only at Workout World.
I'm Teddy Bruschi. Tackling a professional football player is not easy. But tackling the high cost of healthcare, now that's easy. Just go where I go, Shields MRI. The Shields family gives you a quality MRI at a sensible price. In fact, they could save you up to $1,000 or more. So get out there and take on those high medical costs. It's easier than taking on a really big fullback. Trust me. Why overpay for an MRI? Choose to go where I go, Shields MRI.
Seasons change, and so do styles. What never changes is the untouchable value at My Bob's Discount Furniture. A bunk bed with a built-in stairway, only $6.99.
But the stairway's not all.
2 under-bed storage drawers.
And there's more.
4 stairway drawers.
Come on, keep it going.
Side storage shelves.
It's an extra storage wonderland.
Only $6.99. Thanks to you, My Bob's is 50 stores strong and growing stronger every day.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
I don't know, I just woke up today and I said, I need something sportier. And done.
Okay, Maxwell, just need to contact your insurance company with the VIN number.
I just did it with my Geico app. VIN numbers up to the loaded.
Okay, well then, Jerry here will take you through all the features then.
Why don't we go out to the car?
Okay, I'll just... outside. Okay, yeah. His dad is my boss.
Yeah.
VIN scanning to add a car. Just a tap away on the Geico app.
Only got a buck while you're in luck. Workout World's running its $1 down sale for 8 days only. Join Workout World for just $1 down and only $10 a month with no commitment. But hurry, sale ends April 8th at midnight. Only at Workout World.
A little bit of a surprise here. Discovery Underground is forcing the MBTA to rework some of its plans for the government center stop.
Demolition crews uncovered this mosaic, which they believe is about 100 years old. Now the T wants to preserve it, and the new plan is to just leave it there and build around it.
As long as it doesn't hold things up. Right. Before we go, rain moving in.
Moving in next couple of hours. It'll overspread the area, so if you're going outside, umbrella necessary. It's here till tomorrow morning. Slow drive tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching WBZ News at 6. Our next newscast is at 10 on our sister station, My TV 38.
See you later.
14 days until the Boston Marathon here on WBZ.